to show that the entire UP is pro-RH, which is not true. So we wanted to show in full force and through various actions yesterday. Primarily, we tied red ribbons and around objects, trees, etc. So we painted the UP town red, as I would say, and we also distributed anti-RH stickers. We also managed to distribute a lot of flyers so that people will be educated, especially regarding the dangers or the harms caused to our Filipino people, our Filipino nation, if just in case this particular bill gets passed. So that's the latest, at least on the campus of UP Diliman. Thank you very much.
It's very interesting to know, Doctor, that UP is anti-RAs also, because UP is a secular university.
That's right.
And it's not a religious university. And I don't know, yung sinasabi mo is concerning economic aspects. How about the doctrinal or faith aspects?
Let's put it this way. I can speak about the forums that we hold from our pro-life group, Filipinos for Life. I've lent to you just now our very simple flyer. We have divided this flyer that we have into three specific aspects. Chief among which would be the economic aspects, and then secondly, which is the more important aspect, the danger or the harm caused to the health of our Filipino people, especially the women that would take in all of these contraceptives, pills, IUDs, etc., etc. And the third aspect, which is where the Catholic doctrine will come in if it is needed, but so the third aspect is the morality, the freedom of conscience aspect, which is also something that I highlighted in that GMA 7, that grand debate on national television last May. I mentioned that it's going to cause a lot of harm, especially to the freedom of conscience of the people if this bill gets passed. I also wanted to speak in that particular debate of the harm to the freedom of conscience of business people who will be imposed certain penalties and even imprisonment if they were to not follow the instructions to be given by this particular bill if it becomes law. Okay, so basically we're dealing with these three aspects. Now, since it is a Catholic station, whenever we are in Catholic forums or Catholic institutions, speaking in forums similar to what we've held in recent days, we have been asked to speak at some Catholic institutions, at least in Manila, then that's when we would actually also mention the harm to the conscience of Catholics if this bill gets passed. But we stay within the Filipino values aspects of what we are trying to teach within our particular group. So in our particular group, Filipinos for Life, we're trying to dwell on the Filipino values aspects that will be harmed if and when this bill gets passed. So of course we're working towards it not being passed. So that's why we're going to the various media to actually talk about what's going on, especially the action of the pro-lifers. Yes.
So wala nang may reklamo dito ang mga ibang reliyon o iba mga tao na mga Katoliko man na hindi naman nagsisimba kung pinupunderya dito ay economic aspects.
Right.
Maganda siguro ito, Dr. Racelis.
Yes, right.
Isa-isahin natin.
Sure, no problem.
Ang una dito ay sinasabi, walang kaugnayan ang RS Bill sa tunay na pag-unlad at pagtaas ng uri ng buhay ng ating mga kababayan. Paano mo ito ma-explain, Doctor?
Okay. So in economics, we usually talk about the main variables that go into economic development. In more prolonged forums, I would talk about the major macroeconomic formula that would talk about the major variables that help contribute towards economic development. I would talk about the three major components. Actually, if we were to be more strict about it, it's four major components. These are C plus I plus G plus X minus M. Let me explain. C stands for consumption, and then I stands for investment, then G stands for government expenditure, then X minus M refers to net exports. I usually dwell on the consumption aspect of the macroeconomic formula to explain why we, especially in Filipinos for Life, highlight the importance of viewing the population as human capital. Very important human resource that actually helps to give a push to economic development, which is something that could be forgotten, especially in this whole issue of, the pro-RH people saying, we don't like more people, etc. So this is something that we always highlight. That's why in that entire portion of the flyer that we have, where we talk about the economic aspects, we always put together jobs creation. What the country needs, especially for economic development, would be jobs creation, education above all, of course, tilling of agricultural land, etc., and the honing of human capital. And when you put all that together, that's supposed to be a set of arguments that will counter the typical argument that you hear pro-RH, which is like we don't want more people, especially the poor, to have more kids, etc. So we need to explain to people that human capital is good for the economy. Now, we need to tackle separately the issue of like how to actually educate the people, both poor and non-poor alike, so that they can actually practice what we call abstinence, chastity education, etc., which is another very important component of what we teach in Filipinos for Life. But as it is, we're realizing that we need to actually sort of separate out, or little by little explain the economic aspects, the health and medical aspects, and also the morality and the freedom of conscience aspects in this particular bill. But it's a whole view that we are holding within Filipinos for Life, where we're explaining, first of all, from the economic aspect, that we need to view human persons as the very wealth of the nation. This is a very important human resource, human capital, which cannot be overlooked. So that's what we're trying to say. And all of those come together in a very important economic argument against the RH bill.
So halimbawa, Doktor, tatanungin ka nila, tayo ngayon ay 90 million na ng mga Filipinos, bakit tayo ay maralita pa rin, very poor?
Yes.
Kaya siguro poor tayo, marami tayong mga tao dito. So how do you explain it economically?
Yes. We have a lot of data. They can actually check, before I forget, our listeners can actually check out our website, filipinosforlife.com. We have put in that website a lot of information about this particular question that you're asking us. For example, we have put there information about the correlation or the lack thereof between population and poverty. So first, we need to say that overall, studies say that there is no concrete correlation between population and poverty. Okay, so there is no, if you get data on population, statistics on population level, or numbers, population numbers, and data on poverty levels, there is no correlation that has been shown. In any case, if you were to look at specific studies, for example, we found in our group this particular study by the ASEAN Economic Bulletin. In fact, when you begin studying specific studies, it could also be shown that in some countries, including the Philippines, in fact, there are some statistics that show that there is some correlation between population numbers and, take note, economic development, not poverty. So which means that in certain cases, it can be shown by statistics and information that there could be a correlation between the population numbers and the economic development. So, but that's for specific studies. But overall, and I'm referring to the Nobel Prize laureate called Professor Simon Kuznets, he was the one that actually has been showing that overall there is no very concrete correlation. We're talking about the statistical correlation between population and poverty. So you cannot say that sa dami natin, maralita pa rin tayo. So in the first place, there is no correlation between the two. And in the second place, even if there were correlation, and we need to remind people about their statistics and mathematics, even if, let's say, you were to gather data on population and poverty levels, and let's say your specific study were to show some correlation, correlation never means causation. So we can never say the population numbers are causing the poverty. But the thing is, we need to deny the existence of any of the two. So it's incorrect to say that the population, the numbers are causing poverty, and worse to say that the population is correlated with poverty. So those two things are very important.
Is it